Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. Truth rising up. Well, folks, we've been focusing on this show for the better part of 2 years, since really the pandemic started, about being more financially literate. Myself, I needed to get more financially literate. I lost my home to foreclosure in 2010. One of the reasons I started this show was I saw, Bush and Obama, but mainly Obama, bail out the banks and let 6 million foreclosures happen. And my home was one of them. And there's some mistakes that I made. And one of the mistakes is I thought, Obama's going to fix it. He'll be better than Bush. And 6 million people lost their homes. And it's been well documented how corrupt that thing was. And one of the things we've talked about on this show for more than just the 2 years of financial literacy and talking about Bitcoin, I've been talking about Bitcoin and crypto for the last 2 years. But since I started doing this show 5.5 years ago, I've been telling you how nothing got fixed after the last housing crash, right? Obama didn't do anything. Him and the Democrats and the Republicans did nothing. They passed Dodd-Frank, which was, I always describe it as a Band-Aid on a shotgun wound. They didn't put any of the bankers in jail like Iceland did. They put their bankers in jail. So we've been saying there's another economic collapse coming. Now, one was created because of COVID, right? When in March of 2020, when everything got shut down because of COVID, all the markets and so, but it's been even worse because I've been saying this before COVID. There's a housing bubble. There's a student loan bubble. There's a car loan bubble. All of those bubbles got exacerbated because of the shutdowns due to COVID. And then we printed trillions of dollars, which I'm not saying we shouldn't have printed it, because when you tell people they can't work, you need to help them out some way, but we printed it and gave it to the wrong people. We gave it primarily to Wall Street. It's not like we're sitting there going, wow, America's doing great. Nobody's facing foreclosure because we just postponed when you could get evicted. We didn't even say we should have paid everybody's rent. So it's bad and it's about to collapse. And I did a video. I told you when they announced on June 15th, the Fed is going to raise the interest rates, and they sure as did, 0.75%. And here we are the day after it, and the markets are going down, and and all of these financial experts that I watch, people that are neck deep in Wall Street, they're saying this. And then they're going to announce, I said this on July 28th, because this is what I watch the show Crypto Casey. July 28th, they're going to announce that we are in a full recession, because they do this announcement in the beginning of the third quarter every year. After the first 2 quarters, they analyze all the data. And when they see that GDP's gone down 2 quarters in a row, and the inflation is over 5%, and a couple key factors, they're going to say we're in a full-on recession. Well, all these people are starting to say it now. So again, I get this when I get business information. This isn't from like The Intercept or whatever. I'm getting this from Market Watch. All right. This is just a very mainstream corporate financial website. And I saw this in the Yahoo Finance section, right? The economy is going to collapse, says Wall Street veteran Novogratz. We're going to go into a really fast recession. This is on the 16th. And the first article, he said this before the Fed rate hike. And then it's the biggest Fed rate hike in 28 years, right? So he said this, and in the article, he said, and housing prices nationwide have been going up and going up because there hasn't been a big inventory. People decided for a multitude of reasons, but overall, like, they're going to stay in their homes. And so it's been a seller's market. Well, that's going to change now. The stock market's down. If you watch my Crypto Lounge show on Rockfin on Mondays at 6 o'clock Pacific time now, and if you're a Rockfin premium member, you can go watch the old archives. I go through what's happening in crypto, and crypto is very much tied to the stock market. So crypto's down. Bitcoin is at like 21,000. Ethereum is at like 1,100. And I've been telling you, I did a video last month saying the ruling class is liquidating. They're pulling out. They started selling off when Bitcoin was at like 30,000. It came down from 40. They were selling off because the rich The billionaires, the 1%, they know what to do in these recessions that they help create. And the Federal Reserve has also helped create these, and the central banks. They've been liquidating their stocks and their cryptos to have a bunch of cash on hand, because they know what happens when the economy goes belly up. If you got a bunch of cash, then you're getting deals. You can buy office space for cheap, and supplies, and everything's cheap. So they're predicting this. This isn't some activist YouTuber, this is a Wall Street guy. He's also a big crypto guy. And because a lot of crypto people were like, oh man, and when I saw a lot of institutional money in the last 2-3 years, and big Wall Street people start to get into Bitcoin because they saw the writing on the wall. We printed $9 trillion just in 2 years of COVID relief under Trump and Biden. And I remember when I first said Christy I on this show in the summer of 2020, she's like, oh, people are shorting the dollar. Like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. The only question was when and how bad it's going to be. Well, the recession is here. They're going to officially announce it July 28th. But there's all these indicators popping up, not just what this gentleman said, but then there's this. Again, this is Yahoo Finance. Stocks slide to the lowest since December 2020 amid renewed recession concerns. Again, this is Yahoo Finance. Stocks, which moved initially to the upside following the Fed's first 75 basis point rate hike since 1994 on Wednesday, turned around as traders assessed the potential that the central bank's moves to bring down the inflation would trigger a deeper downturn in economic activity. You really want to track this. The reason we've been having all of these problems and up and down is since the creation of the Fed in the 1920s. The Fed is not a federal agency. It was created by a handful of rich bankers. It's a banking cartel. It is the most ridiculous thing, and it's talked about in the news like it's a branch of the government, like, oh, it's Congress, or it's the Secretary of Transportation, or the Federal Reserve, or the EPA. No, it is not. It is an illegal banking cartel. And so there's this. The Fed raised the hike, the stock prices went up a little bit, and now everything's coming down. And everybody knows there's a recession. I watch Robert Kiyosaki's show every once in a while, and there's a lot about Robert Kiyosaki I don't agree with. He's one of these like socialism, like he talks about socialism like a lot of old people do. He thinks it's Stalin and bread lines. He doesn't know that it just means workers own the means of production, and democratic socialism is just equal distribution of public money. But he's a big Bitcoin guy. So he gets Bitcoin, and he gets why Bitcoin was created against all of these central banks. Like he's an interesting cat because he contradicts himself without knowing it. He's like, I'm against the central banks and these governments are bad, but capitalism is great. They're all tied together, Robert. Anyway, he said a big recession is coming. So when I'm starting to hear this from all these different people, and then you see this from great resignation to forced resignation. So remember about a year ago, everyone was like, wow, the great resignation. People were like, I don't want to do these jobs. People were staying home for various reasons. You had all kinds of like, 2-income families where one of the people was like, look, I'm making good money working remotely. Why don't you quit your job and you stay home with the kids more, and we'll stay in the house? Like there was that. There was people just being like, I'm fed up working for crappy wages. There's a whole number of reasons. Now we're having cutbacks. So when you're hearing, oh, we need workers, there's more jobs than employees is what we heard a year ago. Now they're cutting jobs, and we're going to go into the breakdown here in a second. Forced resignation. Tech companies are shifting to layoffs after a huge ramp up in hiring. Coinbase and Redfin are the latest to announce layoffs, joining an ever-growing list. Layoffs. A year ago, we're begging you to come work for us. You saw like Chipotle is paying $20, $25 an hour or whatever. Now these companies are laying people off because they know the recession is not coming. It's here. They'll officially announce it on July 28th. Trust me. Thousands of layoffs in the tech sector, compounded by hiring freezes and a slowdown in hiring, highlight the abrupt shift in fortunes over the past several months. As a result of rampant inflation, fear of stagflation and recession, supply chain interruptions, the war in Ukraine, and an ailing stock market. These are mainstream financial publications saying this. That's why it's important when the mainstream people are saying, "Ooh, we're in a recession." Oh man, we're in one. And Biden doesn't want to announce that because, there's midterms coming up in November, but I don't know how they're going to get around saying it's not. They're just going to say, we're not in a recession. The economy is doing great. They can't do that anymore when all of these economic indicators that these people follow, the mainstream financial corporate media follow all of these indicators. I mean, a year ago, they were trying to say, see, the job growth, people are working, unemployment's low. And I remember talking about a year ago and saying, that's not, they're inflating it. These are not real numbers. They're laying people off. And I've told you this before, so please listen. Get your money out of the regular banks and open up accounts in credit unions. If you need a big account, because that's how you run your business is through one of the big accounts, then be able to transfer money immediately, like set up transfers from like your Bank of America to your credit union or whatever. Set that up so that the minute it gets, you can just put all this money over there. Because these are the words you need to look for. When mainstream people on CNBC and Fox Business Watch, and when all those financial people say the recession's going to hit in July 20, they're going to announce it, and the summer's going to be rough, and there's going to be all these layoffs, and then the housing market's going to come down, then you're going to hear, and Bitcoin might go down even lower. For me personally, if Bitcoin goes down to 15 grand or less, I'm buying more of it personally, because Bitcoin is like gold. Ethereum, I'll maybe a little bit of it. The other altcoins, I'm not wasting any money on any altcoins. I've got altcoins. I'm going to hang on to them. If they ever get up, I'm going to sell them off. But as Max Kaiser said, Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. You can't shut down Bitcoin. The government can't come in and shut down and arrest the CEO of Bitcoin. It lives on the blockchain. Ethereum and all these other altcoins, if they're using blockchain on like Amazon servers, the government can come down and shut those down. Anyway, when you hear in the mainstream corporate media, I was watching, I usually watch CNBC every once in a blue moon or Bloomberg or something just to see what's going on. I'm going to watch it almost every day now because I'm going to look for this key phrase. The recession's going to go up. The interest rates are up. People are getting laid off. And then you're going to hear this, hey, your money's fine. Is there a run on the banks? ? You'll see that underneath one of the segments in the next couple of months. And then when some pundit, some financial expert goes, your money's safe, no need to worry, that's when you get it out. Because if there's a run on the banks, which Americans are easily manipulated, they're scared, they overreact. Look what happened with toilet paper and pasta, 2 years ago. They're going to, and with all these supply chain issues, and now it's baby formula, there's always something that we can't get. And if you have crypto, get it off of the exchanges and get it on a cold wallet. Because you're already seeing some of the exchanges freeze assets and stuff like that. You want to keep a little on there because you're day trading or whatever. You buy and sell a little bit, that's fine. But take the bulk of your crypto and get it off and get it on exchanges. Get it off exchanges and get it on a cold wallet. If you don't know what that is, go to Crypto Casey. She has a cold wallet tutorial. The show The Moon has one. Go to Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel. They have a Bitcoin 101 playlist. Please watch those and get yourself educated because no one is coming to save you. The economy is going to collapse. This government does not give a shit about you. If you haven't learned that in the last 2 years during COVID, this country does not care about you. And voting out Joe Biden and replacing him with the Republicans don't care about you. I mean, I've heard this cycle for 30 years. Whoever's in power screws it up. We got to get them out. I saw this. Oh, after 12 years of Reagan and Bush Sr., we're getting them out. We're getting Bill Clinton in there. 8 years of Clinton. We got to get the Democrats out of there. We got to replace them with Republicans. 8 years of Bush. We got to get the Republicans out of there. We got to get Obama in there. He'll fix it after 8 years of Obama. We got to get the Democrats out of there. Get the Republicans. Trump. 4 years of Trump. Oh, we're dancing in the streets for Joe Biden. Now we got to get rid of Joe Biden. So no one's coming to save you. not the People's Party, not the Green Party. No one's going to come in on a white horse and save you. America is going down. It's going to go down hard. Be ready. Be ready. Because look what we're doing in the middle of all this. Right? War in Ukraine rallies support in Congress for more military spending. We're just giving another $1 billion over there. We've given $54 billion already to Ukraine. Can't seem to figure out student debt forgiveness. We're still hemming and hawing. We're getting 10 grand back. We just should be all student debt. Like it's, oh, why is gas prices so heavy? Oil companies' profits soared $174 billion in 20. This is from 2021. This is the end of 2021. They made $174 billion in profits. 2 years ago, when gas was like $3, $3.25, $3.50 a gallon or whatever, oil, a barrel of oil was $127 a barrel. Now it's $120 a barrel, but it's $6 a gallon. It's all manipulated. It's all a scam. When mainstream corporate financial experts are saying the economy is collapsing, it's going to be bad, I would listen to them. I would listen to them. That's like, whether you like them or trust them, when they're saying it's bad, they're not going, no, we're all right. What? Then it's bad. Then it's bad. So protect yourself, take care of yourself, follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. Take care of each other on a personal level, but no one's coming to save you. And there's no vote. There's no one coming to save you. The squad's not going to save you. Bernie's not going to save you. No one's coming to save you. Rand Paul, no one's coming to save you. It's not happening. And if the Green Party and the only way the Green Party, People's Party could, and I like those parties. I'm fans of both of those parties. The only way they're going to be able to do anything is if they have like $1 billion or two, and billionaires aren't going to support a party that would make it hard for them to remain billionaires. So it ain't happening. It's not happening. Okay. Live on a farm, grow your own food, get out of this country, look to visas in other countries, get out, like get your Bitcoin, get out. It's going to be awful. So we have a mass shooting. We have 100 gun deaths a day. We have at least some type of mass shooting at least every week, if not several times a week. So when the economy really goes bad, do you want to live in a country where everybody's got a gun? Even if you have a bunch of guns and ammo, you really want to just be in a shootout for food? It's not, it's over. So I've been trying to warn you. I hope you listen. And the environment's collapsing. So I don't know what else to tell you. You know, during recessions, you know, it's if you got some cash, I mean, liquidate stuff, have cash, liquidate as much shit as you can and have cash, buy up, Bitcoin when it's this low and hang on to it. It's when some people buy and build, during a recession, if you're in a position to. If you barely have any money, then cut your expenses, start really, if you got anything to sell, start doing it now, because after the recession hits and everybody's out of work and everybody's selling stuff, then you're going to get less for everything. When it's like full-blown recession in the next 2 to 6 months, when everyone's just like, boom, we are in a recession. And recessions on average last about 16 months on average. So it's anywhere from 6 to 24 months the recession could last. Growth periods usually last, something like 80 months. So be ready, guys. I hope I'm wrong, but all these people way smarter than me about finance are saying that I'm not. So shave your knuckles for justice.